Guns cannot be owned by domestic abusers, the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled. The Supreme Court decided that those subject to restraining orders due to domestic abuse do not have the right to possess firearms. The 30-year-old statute that prohibits those with restraining orders for domestic abuse from possessing firearms is upheld by the 8-1 ruling. Zackey Rahimi, a Texas resident who was charged under the 1994 legislation but filed an appeal after the court greatly increased gun rights in a 2022 decision, was at the center of the dispute. In that decision, the court determined that the wide right to carry a pistol outside the home for self-defense is protected by the U.S. Constitution's protection of the right to keep and bear arms. It also established a new standard for gun regulations, stating that they ought to be based on historical tradition. This gave Rahimi the opportunity to challenge his 1994 conviction in an appeal, claiming the statute did not meet the new standard, and to pursue the case all the way to the highest court in the nation. James Matthew Wright, Rahimi's attorney, stated during a hearing in November that he could not locate any historical precedent for the disarmament of individuals other than those found guilty of felonies, which does not include those who are the subject of restraining orders. The U.S. government claimed that dangerous people, like British loyalists during the American Revolutionary War, had already been disarmed in order to maintain the law. Additionally, according to the government's attorney, women who live with an armed domestic abuser have a 5-fold increased risk of being murdered. According to court documents, Rahimi, a 23-year-old small-time drug dealer, is incarcerated in a federal prison in Texas for 6 years. In addition, he is awaiting a state trial. A restraining order was given by a judge to his ex-girlfriend in 2020 after he pulled her into his car following an argument close to his Arlington, Texas house, hitting her head on the dashboard. In addition, he fired shots at an onlooker who saw the attack. He was involved in 5 public shootings later that year, despite a court order suspending his handgun license and prohibiting him from owning any firearms. He continued to own his weapons, but when he was freed from prison last year, he promised to stay away from all firearms and weapons in a handwritten note. On Friday, Chief Justice John Roberts gave the court's ruling. When a restraining order contains a finding that an individual poses a credible threat to the physical safety of an intimate partner, that individual may, consistent with the Second Amendment, be banned from possessing firearms, he stated. Since the founding, our nation's firearm laws have included provisions preventing individuals who threaten physical harm to others from misusing firearms. Out of the 9 judges, only one, conservative Justice Clarence Thomas, dissented.